I've never felt this certain about anything on American Idol, because you never know how the votes are gonna go. You just never know. Let me tell you this. Is going to win the show. What's going on, everybody? This is Clark Beckham, the season 14 runner-up of American Idol. I will be your host. We're going from top 4 to top 3. If you wouldn't mind for me, if you could just hit the like button while you're here, subscribe, and if you want to make sure that you don't miss a video, click the notification bell to keep up to date with what I'm doing, even past the season of Idol. And to get exclusive content like members-only live streams and other things that I'm going to be adding that I'm not telling you about yet, you can join and become a member of the Groove Crew by clicking the join button on the bottom right corner of this video, or you can go to my channel and click the join button there. Again, you have to be on a computer to see these buttons. I thought potentially they could go from top 4 to top 2 and cut 2 people out still and give us that wonderful duel. Who's gonna win? Who's gonna be runner-up? I missed that about Idol when there was just 2 people left. My season was one of the last seasons to do that, and I'm so grateful that I got that experience. And honestly, that I got that exposure, because as the runner-up, I was on the show and sang more than anybody except Nick, who sang his song again at the end as like a little victory thing. It's a lot more exposure for the runner-up too. Now when there's 3 and then you find out who won and who got second, it's more like trivia. It's like, oh cool, that was the second place person. It's just not as cool, but I'm sure they had the finale all blocked out, planning for 3 contestants to sing and perform, and so they just kept it with that. Speaking of which, why do they only have 4 people? Ryan just said Caleb Kennedy will no longer be participating in the show, and just kept right on going. But I'm thinking, what else are they gonna do? Are they gonna play the video and talk about it? I think the way they did it was the best thing they could have done, because they also couldn't say anything like, we're so sad, we wish him the best, because then you're going to get people freaking out, because a lot of people think he should be out and a lot of people think he shouldn't. So the way to do it is just how they did it. Just say as a matter of fact and move on. If you want to know what happened and what I think about it, you can click the video that I'm linking right now at the top of the screen, and I'll put the link in the description as well. We got 3 rounds here. We've got Personal Idols, which is literally any song ever. You could just sing a song and say, yeah, it's my personal idol. I love Frank Sinatra. Your favorite past performance, I like that. That's always a good one, because you know they're gonna pick a great one and they're gonna do it really well. And then they perform their singles. You got a lot of stuff here to take, and they don't have to bank all on one performance. They've got a smorgasbord, I don't know if that's a word, to present to you, not including the duets. At first, it was gonna be group songs with all 5 of them doing Phineas songs or Billie Eilish songs or something like that. And I said in the previous video, that's gonna be awful. It's gonna be corny and terrible, because I assumed that they were gonna put everything pre-recorded and put it in the can and have them like lip sync or sing. I thought it was gonna be bad, but because it's just duets, we just have 2 live singers, and it was so nice. Both the duets are really great. I'll get into that later. First up for Personal Idols, we have Chayce Beckham singing Colder Weather by the Zac Brown Band.
I know it's you who calls me back here, baby. Oh, I wanna see you again, but I'm stuck in colder weather.
In the pre-performance package video, he talks about how he's not gonna play the guitar for this one, and Phineas makes a note about it. He's like, oh, that's cool, yeah, just focus on the lyrics and the music, that's great. And then the song starts and he has his guitar on. In honor of Chayce having his guitar, I'm actually gonna have my guitar and play my guitar for the rest of Chayce's segment. I thought at the beginning it was fine, a little slow, and I found myself a little bored. In the end, it really picked up. I like what Phineas said. I like, be careful about throwing in a bunch of ingredients they can actually take away instead of adding on. But in this situation, it really worked for him well. The judges are pushing him. Oh my gosh. This is where it becomes obvious to me, because I experienced this as an observer on my season. When someone does fine and the judges are beside themselves, losing their minds, you can really tell when they have all this like, oh, wow, oh my goodness, they have all this excitement, but nothing to say behind it. They did this with Chayce too, and it was really obvious with Chayce, but they're pushing him like he's an American Idol god. And then Lionel says this thing that he said before that drives me nuts because it's not true and makes no sense. He said, you know, Chayce, you spent the whole competition with this, really? Do they really like me? Mentality. Yes, son, we like you. Everyone likes you. And then everybody cheers. But has he though? Has he though? I don't feel like he's up there going like, God, gee, do they really wow, they really like me. They really like me. That's not Chayce. I think he's extremely sure of himself. You can see it from the very first video, the Zoom audition they showed, to now. He's the same confident, capable performer. He knew who he was then, and he knows who he is now. He was never, golly gee, do these people really like me? Oh my gosh, it drives me nuts. It's littered through the whole freaking show tonight. They keep pushing this false narrative that they've grown and exploded into this incredible artist because of the show and while they've been on the show. It's not true. To be this good, you couldn't just become this good on a live national television show. You had to be there and have the goods from the beginning, and every single contestant at this point, all of them had the goods from the very first audition to now. Casey Bishop is next.
I just wanna make you feel okay. But all you do is look the other way.
She sings I Wish You Were Gay. Of all the beautiful, incredible, mesmerizing, revolutionary Billie Eilish songs, my favorite voice of the season sings I Wish You Were Gay by Billie Eilish. I'm disappointed because I'm a massive Billie Eilish fan and Phineas fan as well. And there's so many great Billie Eilish songs and Phineas songs, like the one she sings as a duet with Chayce. I mean, there's so many great songs in the world that she could have done. At this point, you've got to set yourself up to hit home runs. And I'm usually not the person to say it was a bad song choice. I have the impression that there's no such thing as a bad song choice, just a bad delivery of the song or bad arrangement of the song. In this case, there's so many other great songs she could have done, but she gets done and the judges are losing their minds. Luke says it's the best performance she's ever done on the show, perhaps. Give me a break. And this is when it was really bad. When Luke was going, oh my, you crushed the song. Wow. Singing. Am I right, guys? Wow. She did it. Woo. And to see you with Phineas. Wow. Huh. It's like, did you not know she was going to be with Phineas? Did you not know that she was going to talk? Where is your excitement coming from? Luke said it was the perfect song. No, I'm going to say it's an opinion, but I'm going to say it strongly as if it was objective. It was not the perfect song. All the songs out there for this theme, and you call this the perfect song, I'm not going to call it. I don't think this was the perfect song. She delivered it well. She did miss a high note for a second, but everything else is typical Casey Bishop where it's just right on the money. She sounds great. I just wish she would have picked a different song for this one, especially at this time in the competition. Where's Bobby Bones? Where did he go? I haven't heard anyone talk about him or ask questions or see any news things. Where'd he go? Maybe he was just supposed to be there until they had celebrity mentors and then he would, I don't know what happened there. We get an appearance from Lane Hardy, who doesn't sing, doesn't perform, which is what he's good at. He talks and has a little interview style moment, which he is not good at. This was very awkward. Ryan basically did Lane's job for him. Ryan said, so tell us about your new single. And he goes, yup, it's a single and it came out. Whew. Oh, what's it called? Oh yeah, it's called whatever it's called. And it's part of the album that's coming out in the fall, is that right? Ryan is literally doing this man's job and Lane's like, yeah, that's right. I have an album, it's coming. Yep, with the single. If it wasn't for Ryan, no one would even know that the single was called what it's called and that he had an album coming out at all. Next, we've got Grace Kinstler singing A Moment Like This.
A moment like this. Some people wait a lifetime for a moment like this. Some people search forever.
Started off, had some pitch issues right at the top, which surprised me because in her lower mid-range, it usually doesn't have that issue. She gets some pyro behind her. I thought this was okay. I was just kind of, I didn't love this. Lionel says something that's actually really good here. He says something to the effect of, you keep saying that you're unique, and you are unique, but you are your normal. And today, in this day and age, your type of uniqueness is normal and wanted and accepted. And I love that. It's basically, she's been saying this the whole time, and we've all been nodding our heads and realizing the concept, the idea of she wants to show other girls that you don't have to fit this specific mold. But that concept has been so widely accepted that Lionel's kind of pointing out, not fitting the mold is kind of becoming the new mold. Not fitting the mold is the trend. That's the thing that people want, which is, I think, is a great thing. I thought that was a brilliant note there. Next is Willie Spence singing Glory. I was freaking pumped when I heard he was singing this song. The very first time I heard this song was on the Oscars, and John Legend was singing it with a big choir, and I thought the lyrics were, one day when the glory comes, it will be yours. It'll be yours. With a capital Y, assuming he's talking about God. And I was like crying, like, this is on the Oscars. This is a gospel song, like emotional, like, yes. And then I realized it's one day when the glory comes, it'll be ours. I just remember going, oh. Thinking there's this gospel song proclaiming the year of our Lord, and it wasn't. But it's a great song. Phineas had a really cool note that I'm going to use forever. When he's talking to Willie about dynamics, he said, start in the first half of the song and act like someone you really, really care about is in the next room sleeping. I loved that. I love that idea. And he said, in the second half, just go wide open. Willie sings well here. I'm kind of getting lost in the structure of the song. It doesn't have a typical structure as is, and I just couldn't really find my footing or settle down in this song because I didn't really know where it was going or what was the main hook or the verse, or I just felt a little floaty, and not in a good way. He had a moment of shakiness when they went to the O's and got big there, and he corrected it very quickly. I thought he did fine. I thought he did well. I wasn't dying over it. I thought he performed it well, sang it well, little confused with the arrangement and the structure of the song. One thing I noticed with all the contestants, there's a moment in almost every performance where they'll have the Steadicam guy take off on stage. You can't see him because they direct the camera, and then he does this movement where he goes right around the contestant. And so you get this, I'm singing, here's a Steadicam guy, and I'm singing, and they're gonna like follow him. I've noticed these contestants follow the Steadicam guy for a while until they're in a genuine side eye. Me, I kind of did my own formula of when the Steadicam guy would come around, I would lock eyes with the camera when he was about 2 o'clock to 10 o'clock. And then I'd pretend he's not there. Let him get your profile without being like, I would go sing, 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 pop, catch, catch, singing, singing, leave, catch, catch, sing, 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 sing. That's what I do. It's what I notice a lot of really great performers doing, and these contestants are locking on. They start to critique Willie, and I guess we're fake speaking in tongues now, Katy Perry. Luke says something really great. He says, you're gonna literally save lives. And that is so true. It's not just a really sweet, nice, powerful thing to say and hyperbole. It is literally true. When you're on the show and you're so good like Willie is, like all of them are, this applies to all the contestants at this point. You're gonna hear stories years and years from now of people who are in a really rough place and their only joy was found in either watching you specifically on American Idol and watching your performance videos, or watching and listening to the music that you put out after this. And you will hear stories about people who literally had their lives saved by your music. And those are the people that you hear about, not including all of the others that you never got a chance to hear their story. So this is a real statement, a literal statement. I love that he pointed it out. Lionel says something great here. He says, you're talented, you got a great voice, you do all these special things, but most of all, you're uplifting. You have the ability, and I could tell where he was going and he wanted to go. You have the spiritual anointing, the ability to sing and uplift people's spirits and uplift their morale and their emotions and their heart and everything. You uplift. That's the special thing. And when he said that, tear went down Willie's face. It was a really sweet moment and absolutely true. The judges did great. Katie decided to make fun of speaking in tongues, but all the other judges were wonderful and had some really great things to say. That's it for that round. Next, we've got the singles into their past performances, which I thought was cool. We got an idea of what it'd be like to be at their concert, having them introduce the next song and that verbal transition. Chayce was first. I noticed that he wears his guitar really high.
Now I'm 23 and there ain't nobody who can drink like me. Soon I'll be 24 and the Lord knows I can't drink no more.
And by the way, if you didn't catch the joke already, I said I was gonna wear the guitar and then I didn't, kind of like Chayce said here. So no, I'm not gonna have the guitar in my hands when I'm actually talking about Chayce. In his single, he says a really cool line. He sings something that rhymes with one, I'm loaded as a stagecoach shotgun. What a line! When I heard that line, that's when I was like, did he write that? Did he write this song? And he did. He's the only contestant that actually wrote his own single, which is really impressive. That means he pitched it and 19 Entertainment was like, yeah, we don't need all the professional writers that we have, and yeah, that'll work. That's really impressive. He's got the best song and he shows the most promise as an artist today to be successful of any of the top 4. And this proves it, because it's really about the songs more than it's about the voice. You can be the best singer of all time. If you don't have a good song, it doesn't really matter. You can be an okay singer and have the best songs in the world and you're gonna be a big star because the songs are so good. He knows who he is, he's seen life, he's gone through it. He has the best shot of being a successful artist post-Idol, which is also why I think they're pushing him so hard. I think 19 Entertainment and whoever they're going to pitch him to as far as record label goes, I think they're going crazy over him and say, we want him. And they're trying to get a little help from the judges to basically go crazy about him every time they can. But he's making it easy for him here because he's got a great song and then goes back and sings his Chris Stapleton song.
I know you and you know me, and we both know where this is gonna lead.
And did really well on that too. He's getting better over the past couple weeks, and this is just the time to do it. Casey Bishop sings her single next.
If you don't love me, leave me, please. If you don't love me, please.
This is a hard song to sing. The melody's pretty wild, and it's at the top of her range. I'm not crazy about the song myself. The way that it was written and the melody and the verses are cool. The production of the single is nah. It sounds really poppy in the chorus and alternative in the verses, when maybe be better if it was just alternative all the way. It's tough because she's the rocker, right? She loves rock. That's her heart. It seems to be anyway. But the way she croons and sings softly, like the duet she does later with Chayce, oh my gosh, in her audition, when she sings those songs sweetly and softly, it's world class. I mean, world class. When I hear her sing like that, and then the big notes too, that's what makes me say she's got the best voice of anyone on the show. Maybe of the whole season. This song doesn't really give us that aspect of her voice. Kind of does a rock thing and then goes pop in the middle, and I wasn't crazy about it. She did great though. The next song she sang, she did Live Wire. I thought she was gonna murder this because this is her wheelhouse. She loves this song. This was her audition where I lost my mind over her. And I still wasn't crazy about this one either. Just wasn't her best caliber stuff. And this is when I realized she probably wasn't gonna make the cut. You can't really afford to do any performances right now, especially with the stakes this high at this part of the competition. You have to steal voters away from everybody. Right now, you're not really getting the neutrals or the other people that are crazy fans about other contestants. Lionel has a shot where he is air guitaring her voice. That was weird. And then afterwards, he feels like he can't complete a sentence. There's all this excitement with nothing to say. Shows me the judges are pushing Casey. So maybe the show, maybe 19 Entertainment really wanted Casey to win or Chayce to win and was pushing them. Maybe, this is just speculation, maybe they're afraid of the voices of Grace and Willie, because typically a standout, unbelievable, world-class vocalist who can do crazy runs and high notes, they usually don't do very well in pop music. Now, before you go down the list of showing me all the amazing pop singers there are, I think it's easier to market someone like Chayce or someone like Casey, who you know exactly who they're going going to be exactly the style of music they're going to do. With Grace and Willie, I guess you think with Grace, diva pop, like look how high I can sing, and look at how soulful I can sing, but there's not a really great niche for that, I don't think, even though that's pretty much my niche. And then Willie's been singing pop stuff in a gospel delivery the whole time, so maybe they're not sure where to put them, but they're super confident where they would put and how they would market and use Chayce and Chayce. So the judges are pushing them over Grace and Willie. We'll definitely see next week in the finale with the judges' comments and see what they do. For the duet, we have Grace and Willie singing, and it's beautiful.
If I say a cliche,
Hey!
it's 'cause I mean it.
This is a lot of music to learn. A lot of music. I wonder if they have any lyric help. I don't think they do. For a while, I thought maybe they have the teleprompter at the back of the studio giving them words. When a guest performer comes, they have the lyrics on the teleprompter. Or when a judge sings, they have the lyrics on the teleprompter for them. So I wonder if they allowed them to have it for the duets, but it didn't look like it. If they did, the contestants were doing a pretty good job of hiding it. Luke Bryan sings. Maybe he was singing to take up the room that Caleb was going to take up, because he freaking sang forever. That song was 19 minutes long. I wasn't recording my reaction because I wasn't thinking I was gonna lose my mind or anything, and I wasn't really taking notes. I didn't feel like critiquing him with all the music we have in the show. And so I'm just hanging out, and I look up like, oh my gosh, is he still singing? This went forever. And we have Michael J. Woodard come up, who I actually don't know. I had to ask in my instant reaction live stream that I do for members only, who is this guy? Where did he come from? But you want to talk about someone who's good at promoting themselves? This guy. That's the way. He seems so energetic. I have no idea who he is, but I want to listen to everything he has. He's very informative, high energy. Everyone loved him, and I think everyone knows him except me. I don't even know him, and I love him. That's how you do a promotion spot. Grace sings her single.
Somehow it's worth it all. Hey,
Hey, sing.
you rise and you fall, but somehow it's worth
Oh, beautiful.
it all.
Great. That's great. And then she sings a past performance from the show.
I know you were but trouble me. I know you never got the chance
Jeez
to be
Louise.
yourself, to be your best.
Thanks.
I hope that heaven's given you all. I hope that heaven's given you all.
Sing.
A second chance.
Yo, there were some small pitch issues, but none of them were big enough to throw me. She killed it. I was so happy to hear her kill the runs, do really well in the high notes, and just put together a solid performance from top to bottom. And then when she went on for the next song, she killed that even stronger. I just wrote on my notes, crap, that was good. There's still small pitch issues here and there that come up, but they're not missing notes entirely like she has had a tendency to do in the past. She's putting together really strong, dynamic, monster performances here, and it's just the time to do it. The ending line was perfect. Because it wasn't perfect, made it perfect. You could have an ending line, da 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 da, and then the band comes in and it's nice. Or you could have an ending note that's emotional, da 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 da. And that's way more powerful. So much emotion, you feel them, it just rips your heart out. That's what she did on this ending line. This was her best performance, I think, of the whole season. Willie's next.
You'll never be alone. You'll never be alone, I swear.
He nailed the first never in the chorus of his single. It's really high up there. I was really surprised, and he nailed it. And everyone after that, he was reaching for it. Just couldn't quite hit it. I kind of felt that from Willie throughout the show, that he was reaching a little more and straining to get on top of the note when he usually doesn't have that issue. Here Lionel says something once again that makes no sense. He says, oh, wow, this top 4, I want to see that tour. As far as I'm concerned, this is it. What does that mean? As far as I'm concerned, okay, here's an opinion that he has. This is it. What's what? What is what? This is it? He's just fishing for lines to make people cheer. He thinks that's the judge formula to get applause, but it's just the formula to give me a migraine. Throughout the whole show, if I took the 10 best things said by a judge, 7 of them would probably be from Lionel. But he gets into this weird thing where he just feels like he's got to go, oh, wow. Oh, can you believe it? Can you believe it? As far as I'm concerned, this is it. What are you saying? What's happening? I don't think I've been doing this like I said I would. But I did say that I would be giving the judges more grace because they're performing live as well. But give me a break, bro. I gotta call the contestants out when they're missing. I gotta call the judges out. Katy Perry says something to go along with the narrative of contestant transformation on the show when she says, you know, you started off just shy and not so sure, and now look at you. Willie Spence started off not so sure about himself, I guess, as a singer. Really? You're talking about the guy who sang Diamonds for his audition? He knows what he's doing. He knows he's this good. He started off shy and not so sure. Who are you watching? What are you talking about? On Willie's second song, I was into it. And then when the key change happened and out, I loved all of that. The key change is so cool. While the note that he's holding out doesn't move, everything else moves behind it. And it gets this really cool shift of momentum. Kind of like a magical, like hokey pokey. Not hokey pokey. What am I trying to think of? Not, magical, mystical, not hokey pokey. That's right, Hocus Pocus, which is a song of mine that I have streaming wherever you listen to music from my EP Year 1, and it goes like this.
And the way you walk so smooth, confuse all my blues.
Last thing we have is Casey and Chayce singing a duet that melts my heart.
Hey you,
Hey,
good morning.
I'm sure you're busy now. Why else would you ignore me? Or do you need space? You can't help it if your mind has changed.
Yikes.
So don't pretend that I'm the instigator.
Ugh.
You are the one, but you were born to say goodbye. Or am I?
It must be nice to love someone who lets you break them twice.
Chayce did great here, but oh my gosh, Casey, her voice in this part of her range and the emotion and how well she does with ballads is world class, and it knocks me off my feet. This is one of my favorite performances from her for the whole season. Unfortunately, it's not quite enough to win over the votes she needed, and Casey, when we come back around to the cuts, is the one to go home. It's who I thought would go home of the 4 after that episode, but it still sucks. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I think she's got the best voice of any one of the top 4, maybe anyone in the whole season. The person who makes me hesitate to say that just outright is Annalie. But Casey absolutely has an argument for having the best voice on the show, the best instrument, and she is no longer on the show. Now, before we move on to the finale next week, let me just say, I was pretty sure about this, I think a couple weeks ago, and then before this episode was really confident. Now I'm certain. And I've never felt this certain about anything on American Idol, because you never know how the votes are gonna go, who people are voting for, who's in the lead so far. You just never know. Let me tell you this. Chayce Beckham, who I said I didn't think would make the top 5. Katie says top 5. I would bet against that. I would bet money, a lot of money against that. But I could be wrong. Chayce Beckham is going to win the show. Historically, in these situations, when you've got one or two powerhouse monster singers, and then you have a guy who plays guitar, writes his own songs, is very handsome, has $1 million smile, and is a lesser singer than the other people, strictly vocal ability speaking, that person wins 10 times out of 10. Over and over and over again, you see this. Now, I'm fine with this because, like I said before, I think Chayce has the best chance of being an artist of the 4 contestants now down to 3. And he's going to win. He's going to win. I don't think there's a shot for Grace or Willie. That's my hot take. Chayce is winning the thing. I would bet money on it. Next week, we've got the finale. This is the last episode. And this is why you need to tune into this review next Tuesday, especially because I'm going to be announcing what I'll be doing on the YouTube platform after Idol. Will I be reviewing another TV show? Will I be doing reaction videos? Will I be doing something else? You don't know. I do, but you don't. And you're going to have to tune in next week to find out where I'm going post American Idol season 19. I'll see you guys next week. Be good.
Keep on raining down, raining down, raining